a quiet village surrounded by lush greenery. The sound of rustling leaves and distant chirping birds fills the air. Joseph, a man in his late 50s, steps off a dusty bus, carrying a worn-out suitcase. His face is weathered but determined. He looks around, taking in the familiar yet changed surroundings. Joseph, muttering to himself. Finally, home. He walks through the narrow village path, greeting a few familiar faces. The villagers seem hesitant, avoiding eye contact. Joseph senses something is wrong but brushes it off, eager to see his grandson, Daniel. Scene 2, the shocking discovery. Joseph arrives at his modest home, only to find the front door broken and the windows shattered. His heart skips a beat. He rushes inside, calling out for Daniel. Joseph. Daniel. Daniel, where are you? The house is in shambles, furniture overturned, walls scratched, and belongings scattered. Joseph's voice trembles as he searches every room. Finally, he hears a faint whimper coming from the closet. He opens it to find Daniel, a 10-year-old boy, curled up and trembling. Daniel, teary-eyed. Grandpa, you're back. Joseph, kneeling down, hugging him tightly. What happened here, Daniel? Who did this? Daniel, stammering. They came last night. They were looking for something. I don't know what. They destroyed everything. I was so scared. Joseph's face hardens. He clenches his fists, his protective instincts kicking in. Joseph. Don't worry, my boy. Grandpa's here now. No one will hurt you again. Joseph spends the next few days repairing the house and comforting Daniel. He notices the villagers are unusually quiet, as if hiding something. Determined to find answers, Joseph visits his old friend, Samuel, who runs the local grocery store. Joseph. Samuel, tell me what's going on. Who would do this to my home? Who would terrorize a child? Samuel, hesitant. Joseph, you've been away for too long. Things have changed here. There's a new group in the village, outsiders. They've been demanding money, threatening anyone who refuses. They must have thought you had something valuable. Joseph, furious. And no one stopped them? No one stood up to them? Samuel, lowering his voice. Joseph, these men are dangerous. They've already hurt people who tried to resist. We're all scared. Joseph's eyes narrow. He thanks Samuel and leaves, his mind racing. He knows he can't let this go. Scene 4, the plan. Joseph sits with Daniel that evening, trying to reassure him. Daniel? Grandpa, are we going to leave? I don't want to stay here anymore. Joseph, firmly. No, Daniel. This is our home. We're not running away. But I need you to be brave for me, okay? Can you do that? Daniel, nodding. Yes, Grandpa. Joseph spends the next few days gathering information. He learns that the group operates from an abandoned farmhouse on the outskirts of the village. They come out at night, intimidating the villagers and collecting protection money. Joseph knows he has to act, but he's just one man against many. Scene 5, the confrontation. One night, Joseph arms himself with a rusty old rifle, a relic from his younger days. He tells Daniel to stay hidden and not to open the door for anyone. Daniel clings to him, terrified. Daniel? Please, Grandpa, don't go. What if something happens to you? Joseph, softly. I'll be back, Daniel. I promise. Joseph sneaks out into the night, making his way to the farmhouse. He observes the men from a distance, rough, loud, and careless. They are drinking and laughing, unaware of the storm about to hit them. Joseph takes a deep breath and steps into the open, his rifle aimed at the group. Joseph. Enough. You've terrorized this village for too long. It ends tonight. The men freeze, startled. One of them, the leader, steps forward, smirking. Leader. Old man, you've got guts. But you're outnumbered. Put the gun down before you get hurt. Joseph, steadily. I've faced worse than you. Leave this village, or I'll make sure you regret it. The leader laughs, but before he can react, Joseph fires a warning shot into the air. The men scatter, but the leader charges at Joseph. A fierce struggle ensues. Despite his age, Joseph fights with the strength of a man half his age. He disarms the leader and pins him to the ground. Joseph, gritting his teeth. Tell your men to leave. Now. The leader, realizing Joseph isn't bluffing, calls off his men. They retreat into the night, vowing never to return. Scene 6, the aftermath. Joseph returns home, bruised but victorious. Daniel rushes to him, tears streaming down his face. Daniel? Grandpa? You're hurt? Joseph, smiling weakly. It's nothing, my boy. They're gone. They won't bother us anymore. The next morning, the villagers gather outside Joseph's house, thanking him for his bravery. Joseph looks at Daniel, who's smiling for the first time in days. Joseph. This is our home, Daniel. And we'll protect it, no matter what. Climax, a new beginning. Months later, the village is peaceful again. Joseph and Daniel sit on the porch, watching the sunset. Daniel looks up at Joseph, his eyes filled with admiration. Daniel? Grandpa, you're my hero. Joseph, ruffling Daniel's hair. And you're my strength, Daniel. Together, we can face anything.